Welcome all to the Sunday Night Football Showdown Up the Lock show, and this one is an absolute banger. It is the Jets and Raiders, and if that doesn't get you excited, we made sure the one thing that can bring good mojo into this show, into this game, is Mr. Glock himself, the new baby daddy. What is it, almost 10 days old or something less, maybe? But
almost 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks,
Oh, Glock, how you doing? Let us know how the baby's doing, too.
Man, lacking sleep, but, health is good. All is good. Just still trying to adjust to, the sleeping schedule and the patterns of the baby and whatnot. And as you can see, he is super excited for this game tonight. He's dead asleep. Barn burner of a matchup we got for Sunday Night Football that we get to watch. And looks like he's going to be excited for it too as well. And yeah, I'm not going to hold the baby all show, so I'm going to give this back to my wife. But just thought I'd let him make his first YouTube appearance.
There we go. Perfect. Well, less than 2 weeks old, already kicking it up on the YouTube chat too. He's gonna be in the chat cheering us on, I imagine, just a few years. But that's great to see. Kurt, you're gonna be a future baby daddy here soon. So it's nice to see your tagline there. How are you doing, Kurt?
Good. Back-to-back profitable weeks on NFL Classic. What? It's crazy. Singletary. I went right back to Singletary. Didn't play him last week when everyone else did because my Bucks have a good run defense. I thought it was like a team that plays as fast as Houston. I mean, he's 4,700. He's going to get all the work while Pierce is out. He crushed for me. But yeah, so it's kind of weird to have back-to-back profitable weeks. I know next week's going to be terrible probably, but let's just squeeze all the juice out one more time for tonight's beautiful, beautiful showdown slate.
Yeah, squeeze all that juice out, Kurt, just like the oranges into my Blue Moon that I tried to do at Olive Garden the other day, and the orange fell right apart in my drink and all the seeds, and I was just sipping Blue Moon with orange seeds in it. But speaking of squeezing all the juice out of it, we got to squeeze all the juice out of a game tonight that might be a little underwhelming. A total of 35.5. How low is that? And rightfully so, though. You get a rookie quarterback, at home at least, going against the Jets defense who just shut down Herbert and the Chargers. It's not the Chargers. It's not the Jets defense fault that they lost that game. That's for sure. And then all of a sudden you look on the other side of the ball and it's got Zach Wilson. So not the greatest game in the world. However, we do get two running backs. We get a clear target tree from both these teams, and we get a little bit to talk about because at the end of the day, it's football. We're still going to watch. Or in Glock's case, if that baby is asleep, he can catch up on sleep in this game. That is a certain thing to do. But yes, we're going to start at the quarterback position. And like I said, we have a full playbook up. We got 10 different cores for each site as well for DraftKings and FanDuel. Code NBA15, 15% off your first purchase. But Kurt, I got to go to you. Quarterbacks here, 8,600, 8,400. They're cheap as can be. However, I know the game environment isn't great, especially quarterbacks going against the Jets do have their struggles at times, especially we just saw it with Herbert and Keenan Allen and Quentin Johnson. They all did not get there, even though Keenan wasn't the optimal. What are you doing with both quarterbacks tonight? Aiden O'Connell, 8,400, Zach Wilson, 8,600.
First of all, I mean, even we got to give the Raiders defense a little bit of credit. They've kind of been pretty solid the past couple of weeks. Obviously, a lot of that is Max Crosby just getting literally pressure and just causing havoc on every single freaking play. Like, the guy's relentless. But needless to say, there's also some other people making some impacts for the D. So credit to them. But I'm ready to get hurt by Zach Wilson one more time. And it's a pricing thing. The mid-range is so bad that the higher mid-range, I guess we can consider that 8K, which is crazy. But I mean, like, you just throw a screen pass to Garrett Wilson, bro. Like, just let Garrett Wilson do everything and pay off that 8-6 tag. Just get the ball in playmakers' hands. Like, please, I'm begging. So probably underweight on Aiden O'Connell, overweight on Zach Wilson. I mean, Aiden O'Connell has like really no connection with Devontae Adams. It's been like this for the two starts he's had, I believe. It's just, I don't know what's wrong. Maybe they worked on it, but I'll just get exposure through Adams and not him.
Yeah, 100%. That makes a lot of sense there too. I mean, these quarterbacks and wide receivers tonight are going to be a little bit troubling to feel comfortable about. But Glock, I need your take, especially like when I'm debating in single entries today. I'm debating fading the quarterback position entirely. That is firmly in play with both these quarterback options. However, jamming in, the guy who carries the ball almost every single play for both these teams, and Aiden O'Connell, Zach Wilson, doesn't feel the greatest. But what's your path tonight? And do you see a path to maybe no QBs being viable like I do?
Yeah, it's interesting because you look at the prices, right? 8,600 for Zach Wilson, 8,400 for Aiden O'Connell. At first glance, I was like, we're probably going to get double QB builds pretty easily on this slate, just looking through the optimal lineups. And surprisingly, when I run stuff with my numbers, I'm not seeing like many double QBs in the util, or one in the captain, one in the util at all. We kind of talked about it before this. We hopped on Rubio, but I don't think you were getting any either, which we'll talk about more in depth later. But yeah, right now, like if you guys know me, I've just played 10 lineups. I don't have any double QB in the util for and that's just the way my numbers work out. And so with that, I don't think I'm going to be jamming them both in. It's just going to be like a max one situation. And then, like you said, your scenario where it's like, you have all these volume hogs, right? You've got Brees Hall, you've got Josh Jacobs, you got Devontae Adams, you got Garrett Wilson. In what is projected to be a lower scoring game, on a site like DraftKings, that PPR, point per reception can bump those guys, the volume guys over the QBs, obviously, if they're not throwing touchdowns. So like you could easily have like a Garrett Wilson, 10 catches for 150 yards, and then not need Zach Wilson, paired with him. So I'll probably be a little bit lower on the QBs generally than I usually am on Showdown. But that's just the way the numbers are working out for me. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense there too. And when you break it down even further, both Raiders wide receivers, the main two, Jacoby Myers and Devontae Adams, are way more expensive than Aiden O'Connell. On the Jet side of the ball, it's not really the case. It's Garrett Wilson, who's just 1,000 above Zach Wilson, and then it dips down to like Lazard, Conklin, all these other weapons and stuff, to where, in my eyes, it might be more viable to play Zach Wilson or Aiden O'Connell, I mean, where you can even not have the top two wide receivers in that. Because at the end of the day, you can get your exposure through Zach Wilson with just Garrett Wilson for 1K more. You don't have to worry about it. But a mini stack with like Aiden O'Connell with Michael Mayer could be something that you look at down the road where, yeah, if they connect for a touchdown, I mean, we're going to be touchdown dependent tonight, I think, just in general. We might have 3 or 4 touchdowns in this game. And that's it. And you're going to want every piece of that. And I think, let's say you do get the cheap touchdown from a Raiders wide receiver, or Raiders pass catcher, I should say, then Aiden O'Connell would have a good shot at 8,400 there. However, the matchup is really, really tough to witness. So, yeah, I'm with you guys. Quarterbacks here, easy to fit, not really comfortable to play, but a max of 1 probably seems like they move. The running back position is the most intriguing one tonight, though. It is Brees Hall and the Josh Jacobs show. So Antonio Pierce took charge of the Raiders last week and immediately gave Josh Jacobs a huge, huge role. Yeah, what was it? 2 touchdowns, just a shade under 100 yards last game against the New York Giants. And they made it an emphasis. He came out and publicly said, yeah, we need to get Josh Jacobs the ball. He's the engine of the team. He fulfilled his word. And then Brees Hall on the other side of the ball for the Jets. Here he is. He's getting almost all the work. Dalvin Cook's almost completely phased out of this offense. Michael Carter comes in and interferes in pass-catching situations. But you don't have to rely on a rookie quarterback getting on the ball. You don't have to rely on Zach Wilson getting on the ball. Kurt, what are these running backs? Are they their top 2 options today on the slate in general?
I mean, they're tough to get away from. Like, Brees Hall is not giving up the backfield to anyone. Like, I mean, Michael Carter's coming in for a little bit for the passing work stuff, but Dalvin's getting him what feels like 1 or 2 snaps. I don't have the snap count right in front of me, but it's just basically his backfield, and he's damn good. And where you kind of attack this Raiders defense is on the ground. They have been better at it, like I talked about, but it's just still like you can just still attack them on the ground. So Brees Hall and Jacobs hard to get away from. I mean, you got Pierce, like, Pierce is like hard. All those like ex players are just hardos, like, especially in that generation. So they're just going to pound Josh Jacobs. The raw points you're going to get from these guys. Plus, we know what's going to happen when they're on the goal line. Neither of these coaches are going to get cute. They're just going to pound the rock. They're not going to let Zach Wilson or Aiden Connors throw on the goal line. So it's just really hard to get away from them. Unless you're just doing game theory, I'm just jamming both.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the path to jamming both is absolutely there, and I love them both in the captain slot, Glock. Are these running backs your primary 2 captains amongst your 10 lineups?
Yeah, for sure. And we'll talk about the wide receiver section later, but I can't play everyone right, but these 2 guys for sure, Brees Hall, Josh Jacobs, are going to be a staple in my lineups, whether they're in the captain or the util. I'll have shares, definitely a lot in my 10. And like I said, we'll talk about a fade that I'm going to make personally in the wide receiver section. But yeah, I like these 2 running backs a lot. You talk about Michael Carter, Dalvin Cook, go down the line, Amir Abdullah, Zamir White. I personally don't think I'm going to get there. I'm curious if you're going to get there in your 150 set, Rubio. But with my 10, I'm kind of honed in on a more cheaper guy, which we'll talk about in the wide receiver section later. So personally, just the 2 top tier stud running backs for myself, Brees Hall from the Jets and Josh Jacobs on the Las Vegas Raiders side. Obviously, there's no surprise there, but that's just, the stand I'm going to take tonight.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm with you. So obviously, it's noted that this Jets matchup with DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner is the worst matchup, not just for wide receivers, but also quarterbacks in general. And that passing game gets completely shut down. I hate to keep referring to the Chargers game last week, but you saw it. Herbert couldn't move the ball. What makes us think that Aiden O'Connell will be able to move the ball? And they're going to do it through the ground. Josh Jacobs, he has been a formidable pass catcher the last season and a half. He's been involved a lot in the passing game. Brees Hall has been involved in a lot in the passing game, too. Why would you want to get cute at the captain spot? Why would you want to go against Sauce Gardner in the captain spot? Why would you want to go against DJ Reed in the captain spot? Or why would you want Zach Wilson thrown to your captain? It doesn't seem like the move that I really want. I'm sticking to these two quarterbacks tonight. Two running backs, I should say. God, don't stick with the quarterbacks. But these two running backs tonight, Brees Hall, Josh Jacobs, clearly the two best plays. I think it fits the matchup way better. And if the Raiders are going to have any success moving the ball, it's got to be through Jacobs. And I think that's the easiest option tonight. Wide receivers. So I just talked about that whole entire thing with DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner being some of the toughest matchups in the business. On the other side of the ball, Garrett Wilson's pretty cheap. He is definitely the number one guy there. He hasn't had any ceiling game yet at all this season. And that's obviously because of the quarterback situation. Those seem like the only three wide receivers that I could have any interest in tonight. Can you make the case for Allen Lazard, Hunter Renfrow, or Trey Tucker here, Kurt?
My cheap is honestly on the Jets side of the ball. $200, and it's Jam the Studs kept a slate. 60% of the snaps for Gibson. Like if you all watch Hard Knocks, I mean you saw his thing, but it's not about the Hard Knocks. He's a punt return too. We can talk about my little stack. Jets defense with Gibson.
Double dip.
Yeah. It actually works. It worked last week, right? Chargers with Davis and Chargers D. Yeah, I didn't have it, but it's not going to happen again tonight. But the receiver snaps are kind of what stands out the most for $200. If you can just get like on this slate, like 2 catches for 10 yards, I mean, is there a chance that's enough? If the Studs actually do what they're supposed to, I think it could be. But not to mention the ceiling of the double dip we got going on. So they're probably my favorite punt receiver. I do like me some Renfrow, but I'm pulling up the Raiders snap counts right now. So let's just talk about last week. We got obviously Adams and Myers are getting over 80%. Hunter Renfrow 22%, and then Trey Tucker, which is a preseason stud for us, 47% of the snaps last week. It's kind of been up or down for him. Before that, it was 13% and then 49%. So on this type of slate, I think it's fine. Like those are probably about 2, like just dart punts because we need them so badly.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll argue against the punts, but I cannot argue against Xavier Gibson at all. Gibson getting the work over Randall Cobb. It wasn't an injury that helped Cobb out. It was a healthy and active. And I haven't looked closely at it, but I imagine Cobb is a healthy and active yet again. And Gibson did look fine last week, obviously in a much better matchup. And if you did want to get Devontae Adams or Jacoby Myers, which is definitely a possibility, Glock, and I want to hear your take on this. You said that we'd get to wide receivers. Are you willing to go down to Gibson to get one of these stud wide receivers on the Raiders?
Yeah, I mentioned that I wasn't going to dip into the running back value. I'm fully on board with you guys. Xavier Gibson for sure. I haven't projected for 3 points, and he's hitting like some of my top lineups. So, Kurt, you said it right there. 1 or 2 catches might be enough. Like,
can I make one more point?
Yeah, go ahead.
This might not matter because literally we're in week 9 now. But I mean, Zach Wilson wasn't the starter. Like it was Aaron Rodgers. So who was working all summer? It was these two guys. Like Gibson was with the 2s/3s. So was Wilson. So I mean, kind of knows what to expect as far as timing goes. Maybe trust him a little bit. Any kind of little narrative we can have to play a dart, gotta take it. So maybe Zach Wilson likes him. Some Gibson's a little bit more comfortable with him than some of these other guys, like Lazard. Like how many? Like Lazard was hurt. He wasn't the starter. How many reps? Probably has more reps with Gibson than Lazard.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at the wide receiver snap count breakdown last week. Garrett Wilson 98%, obviously super strong play. Allen Lazard 89%, and then the next person, Xavier Gibson at 58%. I mean, 58% of the snaps at $200. Like, you know, we've played $200 punts on this show before that have played like 20 to 30% of snaps just because, right? So, and just by having him projected at 3 and he's hitting some of my top teams, that tells you more than what you need to know, right? Kurt kind of touched on it. You're kind of trying to jam in, you know, a few of the studs, the Josh Jacobs, the Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson. You throw in your Gibson, and then, you know, you can kind of make, you know, pick one of the QBs and then get a little comfortable from there. So, yeah, Xavier Gibson for sure. Strong value play, and is probably my favorite. And then, yeah, I kind of mentioned it in the section before, but, you know, with 10 lineups, I can't play everyone, right? You know, when it comes to the top tier people. And so I'll probably be under on Devontae Adams. I think Kurt kind of, mentioned it earlier in the show where it doesn't look to see like him and Aiden O'Connell have any connection. So that's just, and he is the highest priced player on the slate. So it just kind of, the math checks out for me, and Devontae Adams will be a guy I fade, but Garrett Wilson's a guy I'm going to be super over on. And then Jacoby Myers probably even with the field. And then, a lot of Xavier Gibson for me.
Yeah, 100%. There we go. We got AP switching his profile picture to Uncle T there. And then we got Terry Niehaus, Mr. Uncle T himself, bringing out a threat that I don't want publicly revealed. So I'm going to go ahead and take down AP's comment. But I'm with you. I think Garrett Wilson's probably the best raw wide receiver play today. I don't mind Adams. Kurt, at first I had him listed as a fade. However, we saw Keenan Allen get there last week. It wasn't because he was great. It was just because he did just enough, right? And that could definitely be the case tonight, where if Devontae Adams did go 6 for 70 or 7 for 60, or you got 13 fantasy points, that could absolutely be enough on this slate here. So I don't want to completely rule it out. I also want to mention too that we're about to get into tight ends, and we haven't had a hot take from you yet, Kurt. And I have a $200 free bet that I was trying to put a first touchdown bet on, and I need to know: are you on these tight ends tonight? Are you on Tyler Conklin or Michael Mayer tonight?
I can't help Mayer. Like the usage has not been that great ever since that one drive where he came out and had like 8 catches, but I just can't help it. So I probably will play some Mayer. I mean, if you're MMEing, like, I'm not going to talk you off any of the tight ends on this kind of slate, but as far as hand build, I just don't know if I could get to any of them besides Mayer. And even then it's pretty low. Like, I think it's you either take the dart from Gibson or Tucker, or I don't know, just play the defenses of kickers. Unless you're MMEing. Like, if you're MMEing, obviously a touchdown changes the whole plate. But like, I don't know what you guys want from me.
So when I look below the 4K range, I typically cry first, because Michael Mayer is the only selectable option until you get to Xavier Gibson, which I guess it brings in the play of Devontae Adams a little bit more, and Jacoby Myers even, is because that you're not missing out if you're going from Michael Mayer to Xavier Gibson, right? And that's just the tight end position. But Mayer did get 88% of the snaps last week in a blowout too. He is definitely the tight end number 1 there. I don't think these wide receivers are going to be much of options tonight for this Raiders team, and it could mean that Mayer gets a little bit more relied on than usual. I'm willing to bet that Mayer could be the guy. And Glock, I wanted to hear your take, because my initial thought before you guys started bringing up Gibson and stuff, before I started seeing those builds, I don't want to dip below 4K all that often unless it's Mayer. Are you a fan of Mayer, and are you going to spend for Conklin tonight as well?
Oh man, this tight end position is kind of hard. I know it's the whole bit, tight ends and Showdown and whatnot, but none of them really, to me, stand out one over the other. I have a little sprinkle of each. I think one kind of somewhat pivot we can consider is CJ Uzama. I know a lot of people, the field is probably going to like Xavier Gibson, right, at $200. In lineups where you have that extra salary, you can probably half the ownership by just pivoting Gibson to Uzama. And, he's seeing the field, not as much as Gibson, but looking at the snap counts here, he's splitting it with Tyler Conklin. Tyler Conklin, 62% last week, and then CJ Uzama, 35% of snaps. So like we mentioned, right, these stone punt guys, like if they're on the field, all it takes is one touchdown, one big catch, and they're potentially optimal. So I have some CJ Uzama, and then I'll have some exposure to Conklin and Meyer, but I won't have too much. Like, I'm not going to go overboard. I'm going to focus on, the top tier studs, Breece Hall, Josh Jacobs, Garrett Wilson. And then if I fall on these guys, maybe as a last in, like if I have a Zach Wilson and then my last in is Conklin, I won't mind it at all. And then the same goes for Aiden O'Connell. If Michael Myers, my last guy, I won't mind it at all. And then, I'll consider that CJ Uzama pivot for sure as well.
Yeah, 100%. I'm sorry. I blanked out for a second because I just saw Michael Porter Jr. make the extra pass on a swing option there as I'm watching the Nuggets in the background a little bit. So if Michael Porter Jr. can grow, I can grow. I'm going to start jamming in these tight ends a little bit. And wait, whoa, Kurt. You guys reacted a little bit differently to that. I'm talking about just growing as a DFS player. And I really wanted to play Mayer coming into the slate. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to put my balls on the table here, and I'm going to say that Michael Mayer goes 5 for 50 and 1. Pull the old Wiley and predict the stat line.
What is Wiley's thing? Like 3 for 35?
I want to do one.
335 and 1. That does seem like a Mayer stat line. So I think if Wiley came out and said that Michael Mayer is going out 3 for 35 and 1, I'm locking into that in all my teams tonight. But yeah, you're gonna have a lot of extra salary. And I think a way to get unique is if you don't like Mayer or if you don't like any of these 4K options, it's bold, but you can still get a stud at captain and stuff. Is just leaving 2-3K in salary. I don't think that's the worst idea tonight. Because I think almost all these guys from 200 down all the way down to priced at 200 all the way up to 3,600 priced very, very similarly. And if you're really wanting to get unique in a large field, that could be something that you do. Yeah, I think Tyler Conklin, I got this first touchdown bet pulled up, and you wouldn't believe what the odds are on no touchdown scored tonight. No touchdown scored tonight has better odds of hitting than Aiden O'Connell and Hunter Renfrow of scoring the first touchdown tonight. That seems a little bit off. Kurt, who are you definitely not playing tonight?
Oh, definitely not. I'm glad you asked. I didn't realize that CJ Uzomah was only $400. Obviously, it was a trailing script last week, but 5 targets, $400. I mean, I'll do that. He could have 2 catches, 16 yards and a TED.
Who is it?
Shout out Wiley. Okay, who we not? You know what? Oh, y'all are gonna love this one because he's literally been nuking the entire freaking season. He is a god amongst men. He is a modern day Jerry Rice. We're not clicking on Jacoby Myers, okay? Jacoby Myers ain't doing shit tonight. Okay? He ain't
First
doing
touchdown. Here we go.
No, I didn't want to get Jacoby Myers.
He scores 8 touchdowns a game. It's not happening tonight. He's getting shut down. I want DJ Reed and freaking what's his dick Sauce. I want both of them. I want double team Myers. Double team him. No, he ain't doing nothing. Leave Adams wide open. Fucking focus on shutting down this piece of shit. So sick of Jacoby Myers. I know you guys are sick of that shit. He sucks.
I'm sick of being hand in hand with you, Kurt, because I really wanted to make that first.
Go back to New England. They need you.
Oh, God. All right. I'm throwing my money.
Is that why you're so salty at Jacoby?
No, I'm not even a Patriots fan, but he's literally been – the guy's been – he was good. I was a believer in him when he was in New England and wouldn't catch touchdowns because they suck, but I was still playing. But this is egregious what he's doing this year, like with the circumstances and everything, and Adams just gets nothing. Like he gets pennies. It's not right. It's not right, and we need justice.
All right. Well, I was going to select Jacoby Myers, but no, I'm going to do Michael Mayer at 28-1 instead. And if it hits, we'll give away a $100 ticket on the show next time. So if Michael Mayer scores the first touchdown tonight, we'll give away a $100 DFS ticket on DraftKings.
No, Spavis, that was an absolute elite best ball pick. Like,
oh, yeah, it's
elite
been,
pick. It may not be as good as my Tank Dell pick. Actually, yeah, it probably is, but I still feel pretty good.
Tank Dell was going way ahead of ADP, so Jacoby Myers was
not
always
when I was
there.
drafting, buddy. Not when I was drafting.
Jacoby Myers was always there for the draft, bro. He was always there.
Yeah, those Tank Dell, yeah, those faders.
It was hard for me to get Tank Dell.
Yeah, it's me. I'm in shambles. Yeah. So this Texans offense obviously been clicking, but no. Usually we get done after the tight ends, but I can't get done here because we have the kickers and defenses tonight who are 100% in play tonight. Like these are guys that you're probably going to have one of in at least every lineup. I think at least one. I think in most lineups, I'm going to have 2 kickers and defenses at all times, whether it's stacking them up, going against one another. The mid-range is bad. We just talked about. We didn't mention anyone who was like 6K or 5K who makes a ton of sense. Lazard is 6.6K. These defenses and kickers in the 4K range, 5K range make a lot of sense tonight, especially in a low total. Kurt, how much of the defense and kickers are you going to be getting tonight?
A lot. Obviously, my core, I got Zerline captain. I think it could easily be Carlson. I like that both of them have legs. I think both these offenses will struggle. So I think Coach will be like, all right, this is the best we can do. Let's try a 57-yarder. I mean, even on 4th and 3. Like, we're not getting a first down. We might as well just send the boots out there. Talk about defense. This just screams defensive touchdown game. Like the Jets' ability to rush the passer. Aiden O'Connell has stone feet. Too hard to pass up. And then, like I said, one-man wrecking crew, Max Crosby, can literally change a game. He can one play. He can literally scoop, score, sack. He can do everything in one play. Like, he can get you 6. So both these defenses, both these kickers have to be squarely in play. I think – I don't know what ended up happening earlier. I won money on the Showdown slate. I tried to do at least 2 defensive kickers on the Patriots game, and I won money. I don't know if what ended up optimal. I just know I ended up making some money. So I'm probably going to do that same rule tonight.
Yeah, it had to be the Colts defense. Absolutely.
Baby. And the kicker and the Patriots kicker. Yeah. So that's probably the most likely combo I had, which makes sense. So I'll do the same thing.
Yeah, probably the case tonight. Glock, are you going to be jamming in these defenses and kickers tonight?
Uh-oh. I'm gonna court Jacoby Myers, dude. Yeah.
Oh god! And he takes control of the back end too. You know, he adds himself to the
Myers
stream.
is going off.
I didn't
Now-
add myself,
now we're split.
Rubio.
Oh,
We're like
there you
two-faced.
go.
That was not me that did that.
I was wondering. I was like, we need someone to come on here to fill this. I'm begging someone to come on here. Like, send
I want to inquire about how bad that shirt is Rubio's wearing. I mean, that thing is absolutely horrific.
You hate it? I kind of dig it. I think it looks.
There's
nice.
no
what's the
chance
worst
your
thing?
lady likes that shirt.
I'll bring her in here right now, and she'll say she loves it.
Prove it. Yeah,
All right, I'll be right back.
yeah. I want to. Yeah, let's put her
There's
right
no
on.
way. There's no way.
I do love it, baby daddy, future baby daddy. Can I put like daddy of three or what? What should
Old
mine
Man
be?
River. Old Man River.
Old man, or been there, done that. Like,
Yeah.
what?
No, vasectomy. I am
Yeah.
done. Tapped out.
Tell you what, 17 of them over my house last night. That was
How was that?
rough.
What time was that?
That
in?
sounded like shambles.
Like, do you
What
have to put
time
all
was
the
that? It was a sleepover. What do you mean? They were down there watching damn movies all night.
Oh,
It was
I
tough.
felt for you there.
good thing you don't ever.
I don't know if it was worse than watching this Jets Raiders game later this evening, though.
Well,
Let's
yeah.
see. Let's see if Rubio's got it here. Not a baby daddy, it also says with his bad shirt. She might not like that.
It could be.
I told him to put future.
All right. You like my shirt?
Yes.
Where?
Why?
I don't see a
You
human.
got to come on camera. You have to come on camera.
All she does is post on Instagram, and now
Yeah.
she's wear this the hoodie.
Oh,
Let's
let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, I told you, they like
The
that.
rough your hoodie, the kiss, and the good
Soaking
mojo.
bench. Soaking
Yeah,
wet.
we're
bench
shipping.
right
We're
now.
shipping tonight.
I
The
mean,
wettest
she
bench of
was
all time.
full glazed donut too. I agree. Like, man, Rubio is definitely getting the job done.
He's got to change that. Not a baby daddy right now.
He might change it in about 20 minutes after
It's
that
gotta
look. he
change.
just got.
I had Hank in the chat calling me a virgin earlier. You know, I just had to prove people wrong. real quick.
Oh,
I never called you a virgin. That
This
was
girl AI.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
So
shit.
yeah, what were you guys talking
Man,
about?
that was
Hey,
impressive.
Rubio.
That was one of the
Hank's
most
back on
impressive
Rubio's
moments
side.
on the
Hank's
show
like, I'm
yet.
back on Rubio. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm
Jamming
back
at
on
defensive
Rubio
kickers.
too. Who's Rubio's
me too.
score? Which 200 dust balls he playing tonight?
Hey, we're going Michael
Okay,
Mayer
come
tonight.
on.
Big
Oh,
team. We're not
that's
going
not
to
a
the
dust
200.
ball. That's a hero. I bet him first touchdown at 28-1.
Well, you know what's crazy, Big T, is I just did that 5 minutes ago and put the free bet that I got from DraftKings on it.
Must be nice getting free bets.
Well, you did $2,000 in action, you get the free bet. You didn't do that?
I did that easy. I don't know how I got my free bet though. How
Someone
do I get
did
a free
opt
bet?
Yeah, that's why I always ask you. I said, did you opt into this promo? And you
I
always
probably
say,
didn't. I probably missed the boat on it. I think maybe. I don't know.
Definitely missed the vote. You can still probably claim that right now. But yeah.
I'm going to.
defense-
How much was
Glock,
the free bet?
yeah. Glock, did you give your take on defenses and kickers yet?
No, but I mean, I'll just give it right now. I like them. I mean, it's hard not to, right? At their price range, in the game script that we're kind of foreseeing. Now the Big T's on here. I'm kind of curious what route he's taking. I see his core up on the site, but I mean, I think you have to like the defenses for sure tonight. I'll never forget there was a 1 milli maker slate last year. It could have been 2 years ago where it was the two worst teams ever. It was like
Yes, it was, I know what you're
Indianapolis
talking
Colts.
about. Alec Pierce,
Yes.
captain.
It was
Yes.
Indianapolis Colts versus Jackson or Denver or something. Two really bad teams.
He faded Michael Pittman.
And- Yeah, well, it had like two of the bet teams, each best wide receivers, both defenses, both kickers.
Not Pittman. He faded Pittman.
Okay, Alec Pearson captain, and then had the
Yep.
number one wide receiver on the opposite side. Had both kickers, had both defenses. I could see that. I'm not saying it's gonna happen tonight, but I could see it happening tonight just because of these two trash ball teams. Obviously, if you get like a passing touchdown from the QB, that lineup is kind of dead. But if you just get a game script where it's like all kickers, all field goals, and then just passing volume, I could easily see that happening. So I'm gonna have a lot of exposure to the defense and kickers, not in the captain, but in the util, I'll have overweight exposure on both.
100%. I think that's very well put there, Glock. And like I said, we got 10 cores up on the site. So if you guys are wanting any more content, we've already covered the entire slate, but I'm going to give away a free core. All right. And we're going to
Better be yours after that kiss.
I wanted to give away the baby daddy's core, Glocks. I wanted to give his away. We'll do too. I mean, how many likes are we at right now? I need to know how many likes we're at. Let's see.
592.
Well, that's it. 85. We're only at 85 likes. If that gets up to 150, we'll do 3 cores here. We'll do the Kurt and Glock and me here on the core too. But Glock, go ahead and give away your core here.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it. You know, I'm fading Devontae Adams on my main team personally. Just can't play all the studs. So my captain is Garrett Wilson. Going to pair him with Zach Wilson and Breece Hall. In majority of my lineups, they lean more so towards the Jet side than the Raiders. But I don't think I'm going to have any 5-1s. They're more 4-2s. So yeah, that will be my core for tonight.
Yeah, like the 4-2s and stuff. I think it's definitely in play a 5-1 tonight, just a little bit. But yeah, I agree. 4-2 seems to be the sweet spot here. There's a lot to do with the defenses tonight, and I think that one strip. I mean, if you win 17-10 or something like that, a 5-1 could absolutely be it. You also got your stuff up, right, Big T? You got everything up from top to bottom.
Done. That's why I hopped on. Last week I got it done early and shipped. So this week I got it done early again, and hopefully can run that back. But I set a rule. I don't usually set a rule. I haven't, at least with the Saber Sim. I just can't help it tonight, man. I the 2 best plays. So again, I keep referencing the flow chart because I just believe in it. It's treated me good the last few weeks. The 2 best matchups by a mile are the 2 running backs, and they're my 2 favorite plays by a mile also. So when the flow chart matches up what I already think, I'm just going to full jam it. And these defenses have been good. So I set a rule. I want 3 or more Ds in running backs. So most of the time you're going to get 3, like 2 running backs and a D, or basically I want 3 or 4 of that combo, which means I'm going to be way lower on the quarterbacks, way lower on – I mean, I don't even like Devontae Adams with no quarterback, so I'm with Glock. Don't get me wrong. I mean, at 150, I'm not fading him. I'll tell you my exact percentage. I got 31% right now, it looks like. But, I mean, that'll be under the field. And honestly, I got him under projected. So at that 31%, that's only with him getting like 12 or 13. So that's what I've learned over the years, not to really fade those spots entirely. Unless you're playing like 3, 5, 10 team, then you for sure fade. I would fade him for sure. Like I wouldn't even consider him in my main team, which I put in everything. I wouldn't even consider it. So, but in your 150, I mean, Rubio's really helped me a lot with this too, with the Saber Sim stuff, where you just don't need to. I don't like him at all, but you just don't need to fade him in your 150. Because, I mean, honestly, he could get like 10 and be in the winner tonight. It's a 35 total. 2, I think, pretty good defenses. I mean, the Raiders have a good pass rush. I mean, you look at their totals. I mean, they went for 19 and 13 the last 2 weeks. Granted, it was versus the Giants one of the weeks. But still, they have a pass rush. And both these quarterbacks are absolutely ass cheeks. So, like, I don't know. I feel pretty good about the script, but it's low scoring. If the quarterbacks and receivers do pretty good, I'm gonna take a bath. But I like it. I think it's low scoring. I mean, I love the under. I love the running backs. I like the tight ends with you guys. I don't know. I feel pretty good about the script, honestly.
Yeah, hand in hand with Big T. I mean, I can't go wrong with that. I think.
How are the running backs not just the best plays by a mile? Like they're the best matchups. They're the best players. They don't have to rely on the quarterbacks. I mean, they check every box.
Yeah, I don't see a reason to get cute at the captain unless it might be a defensive captain. I don't want to completely,
I think it could easily be. I mean, this game could easily be 10-7, easily. Like, so that means the defenses are squarely. I mean, what happens when the Jets get a pick 6 the first drive or something? They're almost going to be a favorite to be in the captain.
Yeah, because you know sure as hell no offensive weapons probably not going to be outscoring 16 or something like that unless it's Breece Hall,
if a D score, like if you guaranteed me a D score, I would play all captain.
100%.
It's going to be huge. You're probably going to need the score to be the captain, but you can get it. Why can't you get it?
100%. And any leans on FanDuel real quick? I think we're all firmly on the run game here. I think just the top 2 studs, the wide receivers on FanDuel, especially with only half-point PPR. The good thing is, though, FanDuel did price the slate correctly, in my opinion, but they did price the quarterbacks just a bit too low. Zach Wilson's only $11K over there, so if you're wanting exposure to the passing attack of the Jets, you can just go Zach Wilson.
Wilson's the worst quarterback I've ever seen in my life.
He's $11K. If he could fluck into a touchdown and get 9 or 10 DK at that price, and we're fine, right? Yeah, at the end of the day, you only need 10 from him at that price.
How's he going to get the 10?
Yeah, he might not. He might not. But if you jam in both running backs, you can probably play one defense. And
you ever seen a quarterback that's played 4 straight weeks and hasn't cracked 14? I mean, that is impressive.
That is true. Desmond Ridder would be the only one who I think
they don't even throw it Atlanta either.
Desmond Ridder is the only one who comes to
mind. One of those, he only got 14 versus the Giants.
Yeah, that's pretty
9
bad.
versus Denver. I mean, 9 versus he's so bad.
Don't forget,
if he beats me, I'm fine just like turning on a movie or something. Like it just.
Yeah. And I do want to mention, we're already on Mayer on DraftKings at 3,600, but Mayer seems to be the cheapest option on FanDuel that I would go down to at 7K. I think that's a good price. And Conklin's only 7,500 too. So you get 2 guys there. Did you not watch Danny DeVito?
Danny DeVito, I don't even consider him a quarterback because he's literally a third. He wasn't even good in college. I went on a tirade when I heard he was starting.
I was talking about that today.
He's always been bad. I don't know how these guys that suck in college end up getting an NFL job. Granted, he's up against it too with the Giants. I don't think hardly anybody would be good, but he's terrible.
Yep, 100%. I'm with you. Then again, it is nice to know that the Cowboys were going to definitely cover that 17.5 without any doubt in the mind. But we'll take, as long as Tommy DeVito is starting, it could be a very profitable season to bet against him. That is for sure. How many likes are we at now? Let's check it out. We're at 137. I need 13 more likes, so I can't justify giving away another 2 cores. Oh my God, I'm gonna bust balls here.
I want Rubio's core on the show. That's what I want. You got that kiss. You still got the lipstick on the cheek. We need a friggin' Rubio core.
Well, I think we're hand in hand, Big T. I wouldn't be surprised if we had the same main lineup tonight. So people get a bonus.
My main lineup is very, very clear what it is. So
you get the Big T bonus, like the Big T endorsement on my core, because the way he just sounded off for about 10 minutes here, I'm like, oh, I'm hand in hand.
I mean, my main team is always like more chalky too, just because I put it in the big stuff and I just don't care about chalk. So it is definitely an obvious team. I'll be honest.
Yeah, and when you put who you put in your core is slightly different than mine, but Breece Hall, captain, Josh Jacobs, and the Jets defense. So I'm pretty sure that's endorsed.
I mean, I can almost guarantee we got probably the same team because it is a very obvious team. I'll just say it.
It's a good team though. I mean, it's a team that if you did NBA Showdown a couple nights ago, one of the members of the Run Pure Sports ran a 146 team train and won Showdown.
Really?
For 28K.
I've never seen that. They had the full Monty train. I've always wanted to do that one time.
It wasn't 150, Big T. It was 146.
Why was it 4 short?
I don't know. He puts it into the chat. He's like, thank you. And all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, he must have put that in the 2K contest. I had no idea he trained the fucking 50.
And you looked at it? It was like a $15 one?
Yeah, it was. I was wondering. I had the winning lineup. I'm like, wow, this chop sucks. It's only $200. Well,
$200 chop.
Like
that's respect right there.
That guy ruined the chop for everyone, but made it good for himself.
Did he have the logo?
399 times, 146 by one dude.
Did he have the logo?
I didn't have the logo.
He didn't have the Run Pure logo? Oh, no.
Logo, man.
Yeah, 150 of those things? Oh, man, that'd be good.
Lost money, man. Gone said. He probably did. I mean, I don't know if he had the train, he probably didn't lose. But, oh, man, Gone shipped and lost money.
I truly think that unless you see a sub 3K guy go off for 6 or more fantasy points, you're going to see a huge chop for about 3K tonight would be my
I kind of disagree though. It's one of the reasons I set the rule, just because I want as many combos as I can with say 2 Ds and 1 running back or 2. And I don't know. I just don't think, I mean, some of my teams are leaving a decent amount of salary and I don't know.
I mean, if you came in with the mindset to fade the top 2 wide receivers, you're going to suffer on just the fact that there's hardly any options to begin with. Like Kurt and Glock are saying, we don't want to play Lazard. We don't want to play
Lazard looks tough.
Like you run out of options.
I don't project Lazard for anything, and I get like 15% still.
Yeah, that's you got 2 uniques.
There's no mid range. I mean,
I got 2. I didn't want to go 1 unique. I got 2 still. I could go 1, but I didn't.
Be a 1 unique slate. I know that question got asked a little bit ago.
I never like my. Ever since you showed me like some of this, I just don't like my percentages as much with 1. I feel like I'm just overexposed.
It diversifies it.
It is a slate where I could see 1 though. I just because I don't. Some of the guys that like my bottom ownerships, I definitely don't love. So
Perfect. Glog, blindly pick a captain. I know that we kind of went over your core already, but we have a question in the chat, and your captain was different in your core. But if you could pick one, Josh Jacobs or Breece Hall in the captain?
Oh, it'll be Breece for sure.
Breece,
You guys,
perfect.
yeah.
Kurt, you in agreement? Breece over Josh Jacobs in the captain tonight? Just straight on gut.
Yeah, it just makes more stuff fit.
Yeah. And I do want to stress, I mean,
just-
McDaniel's being gone, this Raiders team does feel like they get that new coach bounce because it actually seems like they enjoy playing football again. Just over the past week and a half, you see Devontae Adams and stuff smiling in the locker room. You see them giving out game balls with Antonio Pierce and that. I don't know. This Raiders team is rejuvenated.
I feel like I'm kind of sorry. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna have a shit ton of Jacobs, but like, I'm starting to see what's the coach's name? The dude that came from San Fran, Jets coach, Saleh. Like, he's a defensive guy. Do we really think he's gonna let Josh Jacobs like do stuff against them? Like, Jacobs is gonna have to earn his yards tonight. I'm still playing him, but I'm lowering him in the captain because I just think he's really gonna have to earn him tonight. Saleh's a defensive-minded coach. Why would you just let? I mean, he might just stack the box. We saw it happen yesterday with UCF. Like, UCF is the worst run defense in the country. Ollie Gordon is literally a Heisman candidate. UCF just stacks the box. NFL college completely different, but
you're right. I should play Jacobs over Breece in my captain.
It doesn't. It's gross. Like I've been.
I mean, I should play Breece. I unlike more because right now I got him about 50-50. I think I got close to 50-50. I should bump Breece a little higher.
I went in and just lowered. I mean, I'm still has to have Jacobs captain, but I went in and lowered it just now because of that. I think Saleh is going to make him really earn those damn touches through the air too. Maybe catch some passes to get there.
He catches a bunch of dump offs.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why I think he still has to say
O'Connell beat him. Makes sense.
This is the guy who ran the 146 team train, baby. Let's go. Do you guys have more 2 defense?
Yeah, DK NBA.
He asked a question. Do you guys have more 2 defense teams or 2 kicker teams?
I don't like kickers as much as I think maybe you guys did. I just don't see points. So in game, don't get me wrong. Like in games with no points, you go down and bang a 50-yarder the first couple drives, you're sitting very good. But if you get into like the third quarter and it's 7-3 or something, it's just tough for kickers. It's tough with no points. But don't get me wrong. I mean, I still got what do I got? I got 25%. But I'm still decent. I'm not. I definitely like D's more than kickers tonight, though.
I'm with you there too. Yeah, I definitely have more defense exposure than kickers.
So these guys love to take sacks too.
Yeah. So Kurt,
I still love zero line. I like the fact that they both have like just strong legs. Both. I mean, that's just.
You always love Greg the Leg, man. I swear.
I do.
The biggest Greg the
legs. You just said.
I do.
I just like the fact that they got strong.
Like it's not like Nick Folk out here where like your max is like 51 yards. Like these dudes can kick it from like 58, bro. Give them a chance. I don't like both. I will say I don't like playing both of them. Got to be one.
It will be interesting to see the lineup dupes tonight because, man, these teams look disgusting, bro.
It's going to be Dupe City. I'm going against Big T. I think the chop's going to be super large. Let's see here. What's the Cook situation tonight? Well, he's RB3 in that backfield. He spells Breece Hall barely. It would take Breece
Cook's
Hall.
Like the best for Showdown, too, because casuals still play Cook when they see him cheap, and he's just like total dead weight.
Yeah, 100%.
I guess we should mention Carter for 18. I think Carter's fine.
Absolutely, Carter's all right. He's going to catch all the dump offs if you catch a good script, and Carter is definitely in play. Make no mistake.
I think the last Jets showdown, the last drive made him optimal.
Yeah,
like, he was not optimal until the last drive. Caught a few dump offs, and on a slate where it's low scoring like this, those points are going to come in handy. Like that point per reception is going to come in handy if it's low scoring going into the
end of the half stuff. Like the end of the half stuff should be him as well too. Right? I mean, you don't need the trailing script, but you can also get the end of the half stuff, like where they're just like, maybe in the end of the game they need.
All that matters in Showdown is just having a script, and he has scripts to the winner, and that's all. That's more than you can say for a lot of those cheapies. I mean, outside of just pure luck that some of them score.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see here. We got any questions in the chat that I could?
I actually like Nathan's take. So just straight eyeball test. That Carter, he's made some plays at times this year on just a weird slate where there's just nothing out there. I mean, all it takes is one weird end around that Carter takes to the house, and he's optimal. So I kind of like that.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see. We have Maxey MVP 50 spot tonight. Oh yeah, Tyrese Maxey dropping a 50 piece.
50 raw.
Maxie's good.
He's
Oh,
so
Max,
good.
he's a stud. 100%.
How do all these Kentucky guys get so good a couple years in? They just start crushing.
It's almost like Coach Cal.
It's their talent. Their talent shows through, right? Because they're generally always high recruits, and then maybe the college system just doesn't really fit them, and then boom, they get into the NBA.
I think he gets them ready for the NBA, man. What he does in
I'm
practice
convinced
has to
that's
be.
what he does too. Like he doesn't coach to win in college. He coaches to get the kids like ready.
I think he
They all love him. So
NBA.
I mean, you've never heard any of them talk bad about him. So like, he's clearly doing something right for them, even though it doesn't. I mean, they only won one title with all this talent, but still.
Yeah, the Anthony Davis year with Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't even the John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins thing. Carlson or Zerline, we've talked about that already, just barely. But I'm on Greg the Leg.
I don't care what anyone says after all these. You can't, like it's a true coin flip on these kickers.
That's why
you
you
can like be dead certain. It's how many times I've been dead certain one way or the other, and then the other dude goes out and bangs a 50.
Yeah,
like,
wasn't it last Thursday when you put Eddie Pinero in your fade list, and I was just like, I couldn't figure out why.
I didn't fade a kicker, did I?
Yeah, you did.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you did, brother. Eddie Pinero.
I did.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there. I had Eddie Pinero on my main team. Like, what the fuck does Big T know that I don't?
I didn't. If I did it, I did it wrong. I don't think I did. I never fade kickers fully.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely.
If I did, it was by accident, honestly, because I don't ever fade kickers fully. I mean, unless maybe I did. I don't know.
Well,
you're probably right.
Say, if we don't win the 300K chop tonight, well, then I hope if it's not Kurt, if it's not Glock, if it's not Big T, if it's not me, then we hope it's y'all. We have we have 2 baby daddies now with Big T now joining.
About to have 3 in another 45 minutes.
3 baby daddies.
4.
Oh,
all 4.
Wendy's 4 baby.
Yeah, Kurt's a future baby daddy, bro. He's going to be the next one up. Like next man up.
Yeah, he's already on the way. The head's starting to poke out already.
Yeah, he's big.
Well, on that note,
he's got big old ham hock legs too.
Was Glock able to stay north of the equator? Or yeah, he said. Actually, I already talked to him about this. I wanted to see if he got a visual of the. You always got to inquire about how much visual someone got.
Yeah, you specifically told me, Big T, to never watch.
I'm telling you, I still remember it. I was walking across the front, and I kind of just out of the corner of my eye looked, and then I turned, and I was like, "Oh, I wish I did not turn and look at that."
They told me, do not look at anything you don't want to see. Just take a picture of your kid, but do not look. Do not look at anything you don't want to see.
And I mean, it's part of the process.
Good luck, everyone. Good luck tonight, and go Jets.